So do you think all salespeople are, behavior analysts? They by the age of 10 plus years, they get to the behavior analysis, very very acute understanding about. Okay, now he's saying this, so he means this. And does it really make you think that, oh, if I would have been, where I had a subject like psychology, or where I had a subject which could help me more, it could have been a better sales experience than what I'm having right now.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because they have mastered that thing. Because I also had experience of meeting some of my colleagues there in US in my earlier organizations.
So one revelation is that if you're a very talkative person, the one go-to line for you could be sales, because you love to talk, and this gives
Yeah,
you an opportunity to meet new people and to talk a lot. So I think
absolutely.
all people who are very talkative, there's a good news for you. You can be good salespeople. If you do not know much about which line you should choose, then probably you should choose being salespersons.
Moreoverly, knowing more about what your company is and what product is, and according to I connected to second and third point together.
Connection point, and for that,
Absolutely, absolutely.
probably something that uh, your inclination, your liking should match with the way the other person also has, and that gives you a point of conversation from where you can begin your journey with
Absolutely.
that person. Absolutely. And it has been made very easy. These days people sit in front of you and they're searching on the LinkedIn, just sitting in front of you, that, oh, this is the person's profile. Even while you are going, you have not said anything, but the person knows literally everything about you. Hello, everyone. So every time we meet with a professional or a business owner, we always talk about what are those highs and lows, what are those corporate problems, what are those things which actually make people to handle everything which comes on their way positively, and how can we as professionals learn from their experiences, from their mindset, from their attitudes. So today we have our guest, Mr. Pratik Patankar. He is Director Business Development of Abdact ESG Tech Company, and he has an experience in sales for more than 14 years. Let's have a conversation to check on what in this role as a business development he has seen, that how people work towards it functionally, what are the challenges in this role, how he has actually handled and made himself equipped with a lot of skills which are required in this journey. So welcome, Pratik. It's been an honor to talk to you, to have a conversation. Sales has been my favorite, functional role, because every time you meet people, it's a challenge. How much ability you have to crack the other person and really get things done as it is in your mind. What do you think about this role?
So first of all, thank you so much, Shachi, for inviting me for the podcast. So great to be on the podcast. So taking your conversation ahead, it is difficult, but it's a art which you need to develop through your complete journey. You learn on the job basically, because every customer is different from itself. You meet with them, so first of all you need to understand how you catch their body language, plus you should know what are their what difficulties are they facing. If you have these 2 3 things in your mind, then you can easily crack a conversation with them. So that has been my mantra throughout the years. Whenever I've been meeting any client, so I do some research. That is the most basic thing which is required about the person, about its profile. Social media and all helped me a lot. But prior to that, it was a bit difficult to get the information. But yeah, once we got LinkedIn and all, it helped us a lot, to know about the person, his experience, and then slowly and steadily you should know what questions to be asked. like to get their pain points, and then if once we get the pain points, it's very easy to attach our product or a solution to it and then present it to the client. So that is the main point what I have learned till my in my 14 years of career.
So, in your journey, did you ever feel that, oh my goodness, this person has been the most difficult one, which I don't know how to crack and I don't know how to really get through it?
Uh, I must say it's not only one. There has been many throughout. So because I have experience into multiple industries, I've been with publishing software. I've been with school tech. So there are certain people who are very. No, I will not call them adamant, but yeah, they are stuck to their ideologies. They're stuck to their so this is how I want. They don't want to adapt to newer platforms and newer technologies. So yeah, so you meet these kind of people day in and day out. So it's not like which is, but yeah, in every year I get at least 5 to 6 people like this I meet. But year on year the number goes down because you start learning from your experiences, and you know how, because once you meet a person like this, at the back of the mind it clicks you, okay, he's like the person you have met earlier, and he will be a difficult client to crack. So you learn from the earlier experience and tackle him accordingly.
So, do you think all salespeople are, behavior analysts? They by the age of 10 plus years, they get to the behavior analysis, very very acute understanding about. Okay, now he's saying this, so he means this. And does it really make you think that, oh, if I would have been, where I had a subject like psychology, or where I had a subject which could help me more, it could have been a better sales experience than what I'm having right now.
Oh, absolutely. So, other than the behavioral traits, their body language speaks a lot. Behavioral traits are something which you'll get experienced in within 2 3 years, but body language is something which keeps on evolving, because the client himself is also evolving in himself. He'll be upgrading his skills. He might be learning about body languages and all, because he will also, at the end, he will also have customers or clients where he need to talk to. So body language I will prefer other than behavioral traits. Behavioral traits remains very common with people, but uh, you can put a certain behavioral trait with a person at a certain level. So if you're meeting your CXOs of the organization, you know that, okay, they're very formal. You need to be very humble with them. You need to give them respect about their experience. Other than that, the body language comes out. That is more important, because there when are they in yet, or you'll get more questions from their side. So for me, that is more important. I look for those traits in a greater detail when I'm with a client. But there are people who are master in this body language also, and they are like some of the people I've met. I have not been able to read their behavior as well as their body language. So those people I respect the most, because they know where to hold all these things. So those are the most difficult people to
Right.
crack the deals with. Yeah.
So, so I understand one thing, that it would have been difficult, more if, that understanding of behaviors and body language is not, which doesn't come easy for everyone. Not every salesperson gets so proficient in really knowing how to trace, how to track what this person means by this behavior. So if these are the subjects, and if there could be a functional training for every role, for a person who's into sales, psychology, brain mapping, body language, all these should have been subject which could make the sales so easy.
Oh,
Having said that,
absolutely.
yeah, having said that, I also feel that we Indians are very expressive. So it is easier to actually, for making out that what this other person would be really thinking. It is more difficult if you're dealing with other countries, is what my
Absolutely.
perception is. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, you're absolutely right because they have mastered that thing. Because I also had a experience of meeting some of my colleagues there in US in my earlier organizations. They are absolutely professionals till 8 to 5. They you cannot they have a different personality, and after 5 they have a different personality. So they're both the personalities doesn't come together at one time. So it is like it is absolutely different. So you are absolutely right. These people are very difficult to gauge their body language as well as their behavioral traits.
And we are absolutely mixed, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
We tend to forget very often in India that, okay, this is my space where I need to be in a certain way. That switch on
correct.
and switch off, is not very seamless. Because
Yeah,
we Indians are very expressive people, is what I believe. I strongly believe. And that is what is our strong point as well. Because
yeah,
that's
yeah.
how you are mentally well. Because if you talk about people who are expressing well, they are able to communicate well, they are able to say what they feel, their opinions, everything that comes quite clear. And because of that, you are decluttering yourself within your mind and body also.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. It happens. Means, uh, but I would say compartmentalization is very much required. But yeah, you are right about we Indians being more expressive. So it can be a positive trait some or the other time, or it can be a trait where you get into some kind of a trouble also. So you need to have that checks and balances. But yeah, me being a very I was a very talkative person from day one. My parents always got this complaint from the school, so I continued that trait ahead. When I started doing sales. So earlier it was a very, I found it very difficult. But once that fear of meeting new people went off, so I started enjoying to meet people. So that is how I went on to develop all these skills. Many friends, there are certain clients who are very similar to one or two friends of mine. So it gets easier. So, but it is not something which comes, uh, uh, as a something which can be evolved over the years. But yeah, if you are very friendly and having a very social life, this is the line which you can do wonders in, because once you are very social, sales is something which
Comes
needs
naturally.
yeah, yeah, that comes
So,
naturally.
so one revelation is that if you're a very talkative person, the one go-to line for you could be sales, because you love to talk, and this gives
Yeah,
you an opportunity to meet new people and to talk a
correct,
lot. So I think
absolutely.
all people who are very talkative, there's a good news for you. You can be good salespeople. If you do not know much about which line you should choose, then probably you should choose being salespersons.
Absolutely.
Great. So, if I may club, your whole experience, what are those top three traits which you think this profession per se as sales you have used very highly, and you recommend that a salesperson must have at least these three things, which makes his life journey and his professional life very easy to work on?
Okay, so first of all, I would say sales is not a very easy job. It requires a whole lot of training. Helps whole lot of things to inculcate in you, because some things are very much there with you, but some things you need to develop also. And plus the pressure which comes as a salesperson from the company, the targets which we take. So I would say first thing is the person should know how to compartmentalize, how to switch on and switch off. That I learned after like 5 years in my organization, when things started to, my pressures of my office started coming to my home, and it started uh, making me very irritated in the house. So that's where I started learning to how to do that. And now it's like switch on. Once I leave my office, I just forget about things. I come home, I spend an half an hour's time with myself. I sit alone, nothing else. That has been my mantra staying in Mumbai. 30 to 40 minutes, you just sit alone, just see your day, how your day went on, take some positives out of it, take a bath, come out, and you are out of the whole day's work. So that is one thing. Compartmentalization is, you need to learn that, because it's a very difficult task, because the targets and all are never the companies gives you targets basis on what they feel, and not basis of the market, what market is. So that you need to, so it's a very high pressure job, so you need to learn compartmentalization. Other than that, you need to constantly keep on learning new things. You have to keep abreast with all the new technologies. So constant learning is one thing which is required. Be it reading. I am not an avid reader. I don't like reading books, but yeah, I watch a lot of videos. I read articles on my mobile, but books is something which I don't. They are not my friends, and you will meet many salespeople who are avid readers, and they take inspiration from those books. But I have not been doing that. To be very frank, I'll not say I've read this book, that book. I have not read the book at all. Uh, but yeah, you need to be updated with all the information, the company you're working with, the product what you're selling. You need to be absolutely on the top of it. So these three four things are very much important. If you keep on updating your knowledge, keep on updating about what your company is doing, so you can talk other than the product also with the customer. That is the most important thing. Whenever I sit with a customer, I don't talk about my proposal or my product. I just talk about how his journey has been, and how, so that those kind of conversation will only happen if you have some background knowledge of the company you are working with, and also what your client is all about. So that constant upgradation of yourself is requirement to talk in this manner.
So handle pressure, and you can handle pressure well. The first one which you said was handle pressure well by compartmentalizing, right? The second which you said was you need to be constantly updated as to what is the in thing in the market. How do
Correct.
you learn more? So being more open to learning, updating yourself should be the second, in sales. What
Correct.
did you say? The third one?
The third one was moreoverly knowing more about what your company is and what product is, and according, so I connected to second and third point together, where I said, okay, upgrading yourself is one thing, but upgrading about what you are selling also, and whom you are selling also. So that research is very much important. That's a day in and day out process. It's not one thing which you have done it and now you will not do it. I do it. I still do it every time I go out to meet a customer. Be it I'm meeting him for the second or third time, because I need that masala to talk with him. Right? It's not only the product you talk about, because product doesn't sell itself. You have to sell yourself first. Then only the product or a solution gets sold
So the
to the
point you're
client.
trying to make is you need a connection point, and for that,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
probably something that uh, your inclination, your liking should match with the way the other person also has, and that gives you a point of conversation from where you can begin your journey with
Absolutely.
that person. Absolutely, and it has been made very easy. These days people sit in front of you and they are searching on the LinkedIn, just sitting in front of you. That this is the person's profile. Even while you are going, you have not said anything, but the person knows literally everything about you.
Absolutely.
Thank you to this social media.
Yeah.
Thank you to the LinkedIn, but now nothing's much with you. Your accomplishments and your standing is completely out.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So coming back to our point where you said updates and learning. So don't you think updates and learnings is a part of every profession these days? I mean, in that sense, every profession, whether it is a finance profession or an HR profession, there has been constant, skill upgradation in every, functional area. So in sales, if you are talking about the upgradation of skills, what can be your go-to apart from updating your knowledge? What skills or what courses or what is it that a person should look forward to for, looking at being on the next level?
So I have been, talking with few of my earlier colleagues also. So training as per. So what you are talking about, those finance professionals or an HR professional. So these are the functions which they are. Uh, if there are certain changes into financial sector or some rules and regulations, so they need to upgrade themselves. But on a sales side, some things are very much fixed what you do, and other than that, upgrading comes. Like if I am working in a channel sales, but I want to move towards key account management. So there you find courses for key account management. So key account management is again a whole ball game altogether. I was into channel sales earlier. Now I'm into a key account management, more into institutional sales role.
I heard numbers that you mentioned, and coming back to
Yeah.
numbers, I don't know. I have heard people saying this. Correct me if I'm wrong. That salespeople, they get high and they get motivated when they close a deal more than enjoying the journey. So that's the biggest motivation for a person. So I think their salary is not so dear to them. Their incentives are very dear to them. Is that true?
Uh, yeah, in your starting of your sales career, that is more important. But once you grow in your sales field, yeah, extra money. Who doesn't like it, right? Other than your sales and the incentive, which is something which is very dear to me still now. But yeah, but that drive goes out a bit because for me, going out, meeting people, and uh, cracking deals and making good name in the company, that is more important. Money comes
As a consequence.
with a, yeah, with an added advantage with that. But yeah, so the starting of your career, that is because your salary component remains very
Less.
minimum, I would say. The incentives on a higher side. So at that time, it is very important. It depends on different people. I think still people may be getting that high about the earning incentives. But yeah, I have certain different thoughts behind it. As I'm working in a startup right now, so for me building that company, bringing in new clients and getting that recognition from the CEOs and the co-founders, that drives me. The money is a added thing which comes in.
Right. So I actually can connect the dots what you said, that when you enter a field like sales, at the entry point for a motivation, the salaries are minimum, so that the person more and more wants to close the deals, and it is easier when you are dealing with people at a lower level. But while your job profile gets higher and higher, you start dealing with different company owners or CEOs, and that's where it's not just a very easy deal to be cracked. So you take
Yeah.
a lot of time. So that
Yes.
is where the incentives get lesser and the salary remains, and that is how
Absolutely.
this journey. Yeah, I
Your
understand.
sales cycle moves on a longer side because where I'm working right now, it's like 6 months to minimum of 5 months is there for a deal to crack. So the number of deals should be there, pipeline should be there. So those are all things which are as a process which we are doing. But yeah, for me, cracking the deals is a very high. But yeah, money is like something now I'm okay with. I've made peace with it right now.
So, like you have been in different companies, and the sales cycle, as you mentioned, is different for each product. And if they are services, it would be different. Could you throw some light as to, were you always there in the product field as a salesperson, or you have also been into the service oriented,
Yeah.
sales?
So I have done solution as well as product sales. So when I was in publishing, it was a product which I had. So I was working with Walters Kluwer and LexisNexis. These are two big giants in publishing, both in legal publishing as well as in the accounts, the CA books which are required. So those I had with me. It was a very easy cycle for me. I need to go and submit it to one of the faculty who is heading that particular department or teaching that particular subject. Get it okayed it from them, and we used to make it available to nearby stationery shop, so that when the teacher suggests the book, students go. So this kind of a supply chain we used to fit. So the cycle was monthly. In solution, it takes time, because solution is something which is not in front of you. You are proposing a solution depending upon the need of the customer. So starting from generating the need to setting up a solution, then then there are POCs which come. After that, the deal is getting signed. So the cycle depends upon the product and all. But yeah, I have done product and solution both. It depends, like company to company. Some companies know their product is, the acceptability is slow, and the sales cycle is also on a heavy, on a very per se, it is on a monthly or 6 months to 5 months time. So at that time, it is okay if the company understand, but there are companies who doesn't understand the cycle also, and they start pushing you to do that. That is where the confidence of a salesperson tends to go down, and that is where your compartmentalization comes, because you need to know where you need to draw a line, and when you need to speak about it. So yeah, so this is how I have been managing it with both product and solution. I like product sales more, but the solution which I am selling right now, it is I like. I'm starting to liking the solution sales more. So it
So the
depends.
service-based solutions are better, because there you need to apply more mind as to how
Yeah,
the
yeah,
need
yeah.
is satiated. That's where your
Yeah,
creative
yeah.
mind gets satiated.
Absolutely. Product is something, it is there in front of the customer. You talk about these are all features which are there. You can't add anything more into it, because it's a product. So if he likes it, he'll buy it. If he doesn't likes it, then you persuade him more. But solution is
No, no,
something
no.
where you can
The
add.
real test is when he doesn't like and he still buys, isn't it?
But that is, yeah. So that's why I said the client buys the salesperson first, then the product. So every time if you talk to any salespeople, they'll always say you need to sell yourself first. Be it you are giving an interview to the company, you are selling yourself. You are talking to a client, you are selling yourself. So it's a constant. So I have got this from one of the training which I got in LexisNexis. He started from our childhood. At the time of you wanting a milk, you are selling yourself to your mother. You start crying, you start craving about things and all, then you get food. So that is the entire journey you have been selling yourself. So why not sell yourself on a much better way, so that you get in bigger things in exchange.
So this is quite interesting. So I have heard this statement that if you do not ask for, the answer is no. This applies to even a little one who's trying to call out, cry that
Absolutely.
milk is required. But here, you as a salesperson has defined this, that this is, you are selling. Everywhere you are selling, and from
Yeah,
that point. So I think that's a good definition I've not heard before. That you are selling at every point. You try to always. One more very interesting anecdote, which I think I heard a couple of times, couple of days before, that we have this culture that when a teacher asks what is the right answer, we always want to be the first, or we want to give the right answer. Why can't there be only conversations? Why do we need to know all answers? So that's conversation skill is not developed in some people because they were very intelligent, but they only restricted their thought to the right answers.
Correct.
So they have not thought that if I do not have right answers, let me be quiet. I'll let me not say anything in front of ma'am. And this is very evident where people don't want to have a conversation if they don't know the subject. They're not ready to explore as to what will work for the other person. Let me check if
Right.
this is a connection which could be met. And probably I think that is one of the reasons why we have less listeners, where everybody wants to say more and they want to listen less, which I quite believe in this, because I think every time the other person is talking, we are already ready in our mind with either the question or the response. We are not just making conversations, we always want to derive results. And that has been so much in our blood. And that is the reason I got inspired that let me have conversations with different functional people so that we really know that, certain skills are across in all functions, but they are never used. Like conversation skills are there even in the human resource person, they're already there, but you will never find finance people having that, patience on conversations. They are very intelligent people, but not all the times you would find, oh, this person is sales and marketing, no, so he has all the patience to talk. And this is something which I'm talking about. I'm a finance person. I am a chartered accountant by profession, so I have been that way, where we are people of very few words, and we hardly give ourselves time on conversations. And this is such a beautiful thing that we have to not have motives on finishing it, but motives as to how we can interact, how we can just strike a conversation, how we can learn from each other, whatever it be, irrespective of designations, irrespective of how we can help each other, know each other, and which could be a different world altogether. And probably conversations make a lot of difference. And that is the reason I was inspired to have conversations and, get the SWOT, which we do normally. So as a coach now, we do a SWOT where we have these traits of individual people. What is their weakness? What is their strength? What is their threats they would actually experience? What is the opportunities that they can see through their strengths? So very interestingly, when I'm collating all the data, I'm meeting different people, I realize that every function person has a definition of traits which is made by him. I truly understand there is no golden rule, because that is how life is. But it is interestingly very, very accurate.
Excuse me.
You have said for the same definition of a child needing and crying for milk as a salesperson. This is your way of saying that you are selling. Everyone is a salesperson, and this is something which I would say, bang on. I mean, yes, because when you're going for an interview, you are selling. When you're meeting people, they must like you, and that is the point in mind. And so again, you're selling. Having a relationship, again, you are selling. Being with the boss, you are selling. And as such, your profession is there, you are anyway selling. So it's a simple this thing where you're applying all the things.
Absolutely. So if you look at your personal relations also, if you now what I have said, if you connect it to your family, friends, personal relations, you will see the same thing happen. More or the other, you are selling yourself. Like for my wife, whenever I have to, make her understand something or make her agree on something, I am again talking in that language only. Okay, these are the things we
Oh,
need to
sales
do.
are tricky
Yeah.
people there because they know how to crack a deal. Okay.
No, but my wife is a lawyer. She has more more things to talk about. So there my sales things doesn't
Skills.
work that much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one question which I have is, what has been your lowest point in this profession, in this professional life?
There has been two, three, but one was in 2008 market crash, which happened. I lost my job. Again, I came back to. So I was in Indore in my hometown. I belong to Indore basically. My sister was here in Mumbai for 1.5 years. I didn't have anything to work on. Uh, she called me up. I started again. So again from the scratch I started. So that has been a very good journey till the pandemic happened. Again, I lost my job in 2020, but thankfully, the severance packages and all were okay. My wife was working. That is again a good thing. So we could survive that time, and I feel very, I can feel how people would have been who might have lost the job, and if they are the sole earner in the family. I know few of them who had seen terrible days. So yeah, so I tend tend to not go into a shell for a very long time. You feel bad, but you can't just keep feeling bad about things. You have to move on, right? So yeah, so at the first time I felt bad for 2-3 months. This time I didn't take it. Okay, it is something which happened. I took it like from a salesperson without any giving, without any business, sitting at home and getting salary for 8 months. So because there was no amount of business you are doing, because my business was logistics wise also hit, and we can't go out and meet people. That was also hit. So you think practically enough. Uh, so
But apart from, yes, losing a job, yes, I would say it was a low point. But is there anything which was like being on the job and still you were upset, and you have never been such upset with something which you know has happened? Is there something which made you shake yourself? Okay, this is something.
yeah, there. So these things keep on happening. Sachi, if I particularly say, you'll not have a very good day every day. So for me, my mornings are very important. I don't if if there is a meeting with my boss at 9:30 or 10, I just pray the meeting goes well. There shouldn't be anything, because for me, if my morning gets spoiled, the entire day goes for a toss. For me to get out of that mood, it's very difficult. So that is one negative point what I will feel, what I have currently. But yeah, there has been things like you have done something and the credit goes to somebody else in the organization. Then there are promotions which get affected because you are not there in the office. So I've been into a satellite office from almost 11 years. This is the first time I'm getting office in Mumbai in Updap. So now I could see, okay, being in office in front of the boss, how it matters, and you being in satellite office, how it matter, how it's a different ball game
Yeah,
altogether.
a lot of people had forgotten what is it about, sitting along with the bosses. True,
Yeah,
very true.
absolutely. If you see, this is more happening from starting from the pandemic onwards. I have seen this jump. But yeah, I feel that is great. This is how people must be compartmentalizing. This is how people must be using it to you know put their stress out of their body or mind. I love dogs. I spend a hell lot of time with my dog. If I'm very much stressed, I sit with him for half an hour. So everything goes out. So it is something which people have to do if they have to manage their balance, work life balance, because mental being is very much important right now. And the kind of pressures which are there in the organizations or in the companies, it is once you grow higher into the organization, the pressures and everything gets into 10 times.
But do you think salespeople are stronger because the kind of targets they are dealing with, and the kind of pressure which is given to them in terms of target nahi hua, I know what's going to happen in the meeting, and I don't know how I'll handle, and because that is something where targets are always जितना जो करता है उससे उसको ज्यादा ही काम मिलता है, तो काम तो कभी खत्म नहीं होता, काम और ज्यादा बढ़ जाता है, and In the meantime, that person is expected of, okay, last time you have done this time you should at least do 10% more than that. So the bar is raising high. So do you think
Yeah.
this is a functional role which has more pressure than other roles?
Uh, I tend to feel that, but it's not like that particularly. Every role has its own pressures. Uh, but yeah, the number pressure is something which is a bit, you're responsible for pumping money into the organization. So on those lines, when you get pressure from an organization, like you are the person who are bringing in money in the organization. So yeah, I feel some of the time I also feel okay. We have high pressure jobs, but pressure is in every industry, every function. It's just ours. It's our pressure is very evident to people. If you talk about any sales guy, he'll always talk about, oh, we have numbers, we have number pressures. किसी को if anybody wants to give me a bahana also of not coming out with me, he gives me this one. If he's a sales guy from one of my friend, no, it's too much pressure. I cannot come out right now. I have to work. So this has been spoken very widely of in the sales industry. But I feel all the other department has their own pressures.
Point well taken, because
And
everyone
yeah,
ultimately has to learn to
yeah, cope with
understand
it.
what is in their function, which is pressure, and it's all about knowing that what is
Absolutely,
expected out of that role.
absolutely.
That's what will manage.
So
That's why
for a
people don't
sales,
say stress.
yeah,
They don't say stress. They say stress management. Why? Because you're
yeah.
managing the stress. You don't know how to handle it. You are just managing it.
Managing it. Correct. Absolutely right. Bang on. So stress is something which can be managed only. You can't just
And
take the stress out of your life. So it can be managed.
right. Wonderful talking to you, Pratik. I think this was a conversation which gave me a perspective how open sales conversations can begin and they can close while there's so much thought to this line of conversations. So we also learned about how things happen, what are the principles that people could take up, what the traits they can work on. And talkative people, I have something for you. Don't be thinking that there is no profession. One profession which is surely for you is sales.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pratik. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Shachi. Your pleasure is mine. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.